Ryan Drell here for MMA News, and I'm excited to have my next guest on the program. It's Billy Goff, who will be back in action May the 11th at UFC St. Louis when he takes on Trey Waters. Billy, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you, my man?
I'm good. I'm good. I like the hat. What is that?
Hey, I'm not quite sure what company it is, but I bought it at a snowboarding shop up in Vermont.
Okay. Are
Yeah.
you big into like winter sports? Is that something that you do a lot?
I picked up snowboarding a few years ago, uh, with it because my buddy Jake took me, and I loved it. It was awesome. I wasn't that great, but I got better as I ate shit more and more. Just send it and you'll get good, or you'll get hurt and you'll stop. But the past couple of years, I haven't been able to do it as much just because I've been so busy with coaching wrestling.
Sure. Yeah. I'm from a little bit further north from you. I'm from Maine, so plenty of places to snowboard, ski, all kinds of stuff like that. And you got to have the nice hat to keep the lettuce in place. You got the good head of lettuce on you, man. Tell me, what were your initial thoughts when you heard about this matchup, Trey Waters? He's young in his UFC career, just like you are. Guy's tall, he's super long and rangy. What were your initial thoughts?
I thought it was funny that I'd be fighting the tallest welterweight on the roster, because I'm not even a tall welterweight. So it's just funny because we have a 7 inch height difference, 5 inch reach difference. Um, but it's nothing that I haven't really seen before. I fought guys who were 6'3". I've trained with guys who were 6'7". I've fought a guy who had longer reach, so it's nothing that's new. It certainly adds some flair to it, so it makes it exciting, and I look forward to it.
Well, I mean, you've had some success here regionally, up at 185, won a prestigious belt for a really great, promotion here in New England. So you've been in there with big guys. Do you feel like this is going to be any different with someone of his caliber?
No, I mean he's good. He's got some good boxing. He's quick. He uses his reach. He's uses his length for takedown defense too, which not a lot of guys do. And it's gonna be a good fight. He's like I said, he's good. But I've gotten in on guys who have longer reach, so it's nothing that I can't do, and it's nothing that I'm not familiar with. Plus, he's not gonna be, even though he's bigger because he's taller and he's longer, we both weigh in at the same. So
Mhm.
we're the same size. It's just not exactly.
Understood. What do you walk around at these days? If you're outside of camp and you're eating what you want, like how heavy do you get?
Outside of camp, the heaviest I'm getting is 200. Right now, I'm probably like 195.
So do you feel like just most of the guys in the welterweight division in the UFC, you're like a normal size welterweight. This is your weight class.
Yeah, I don't feel like I cut an insane amount of weight. I usually feel pretty good, especially with recent weight cuts. I've dialed it in really well. Um, and I'm definitely not like a huge welterweight, but I'm naturally strong for my size, so I don't really need to be cutting a ton of weight.
Mhm. Okay, very good. I don't know if you saw this. You probably didn't because it just happened over the weekend. But I just interviewed Trey to preview this fight here with you, and he was honestly pretty dismissive of you. Like he was very confident in his abilities and just thought that he was going to go in there and kind of do what he wants in this fight. Is that something that when you hear stuff like that, does that get under your skin? Does it tick you off? Put a chip on your shoulder? Like what are your thoughts when you hear that kind of stuff?
I just think it's funny, because I always think it's funny when people talk shit on their opponents, because it's if I beat all these guys and I say, oh, these guys aren't that good, it's like, all right, what does that make you, man? I want to beat the good guys, not the shitty guys. I want to fight the guys who are good, who are going to give me some challenges. Like I'm fighting a guy who's 7 inch, has got a bunch of reach and height on me, who's got good boxing. That's what I want people to think about. I don't want people to think back, oh, this is an easy fight for Billy. He should do this. He should be able to do whatever he wants, because it's just a bad look. Like I want all my opponents to go on and win a bunch. Go get a bunch of wins after I beat you, because it just makes me look better. Um, but it doesn't bother me. I've actually never had too many people talk shit to me during, like, before fights or during fights, after fights. Uh, So it's not common, and I don't really care either way. Because if you sleep on me, if you think that it's going to be easy, that you're going to have an easy time with the striking or with the wrestling, then you're just going to be in for a rude awakening.
Can't wait for this fight, man. We'll circle back to it. I want to talk to you a little bit about, your UFC debut. That was all the way over in Singapore, August of last year. So it's been a little while. Round one TKO victory over Yusaka Kinoshita. What was that whole experience like? You hear about fighters when they make their UFC debut, you get like the octagon jitters. It's just different, right? Because it's the biggest promotion in the world. What was that like for you? Did you feel any of that?
Not beforehand, but when I got to the cage, I felt a good bit because it was different, different scenario, bigger. My name's all on huge on this banner going around the stadium. So there definitely was some jitters to it when I got to the cage. But beforehand, it was kind of all just business. Like we're doing what we do normally. Just deal with the nerves, go through the steps of getting ready, and go out there and fight. I put a lot of pressure on myself, so every fight, no matter what stage it is, has felt huge, and it's been very important. So to go to a bigger stage, it's not too much of a difference because there's already been so much pressure on me in the past.
What was it like fighting in front of those fans over there and just that whole experience traveling there with your team? I have to imagine it's a memory, a moment that, ranks pretty high in your life so far.
Absolutely, it's first time I've ever been out of the country, so that was cool. Just because of these, and it was flying for 23 hours sucks. It was worse coming back than it was going there. Going there was actually pretty easy, just because of the timing. Coming back was horrible. I had a horrible headache the whole time. My head hurt from probably the fight, and I was also starting to get sick the day of the fight, just a little bit, and then it got worse when I was leaving. Um, Geez. Um, but it was great. My coach and my teammate Austin and I we had a great time seeing a new country and seeing a bunch of different cool spots. We can't do as much because we got a fight coming up, and we only had like a day afterwards. But it was a blast.
So that was in August. And from what I understand, in September, you were in a pretty nasty car wreck. Tell me what happened and what the recovery was like, because it looked like you were pretty hurt.
Yeah, so 2 weeks after I got back from the fight, I went and bought my mom a car because hers got totaled a while back, and I've been letting her use one of mine. So I went and bought her a nice new one. It's a little more comfortable. But 2 hours after taking it off the lot, I rear-ended somebody parked on the highway because they're just a little. There was a trooper a little bit in the lane, and I was looking at some fancy buttons on it, and I looked up at the last second, slammed on my brakes, hit them halfway, and then spun out, hit two more cars, and hit the guardrail on the other side. I don't remember it. The last thing I remember is like a flash of the car, and then the next thing was coming to with the EMT standing above me, and it it was like I was probably going like 65. So from 65 to a dead stop is a lot. I'm very lucky to be not only alive, but also as okay as I was. My back was banged up. It took a while to kind of loosen that up and make that stronger. And outside of that, I just had some cuts on my arm. The CT scan said there was no brain trauma. Nothing. I got extremely lucky.
Wow. Wow. Man, that's pretty scary. Uh, Jeez. So you never had like anything more serious. Like you literally just had the back issues and like the cuts, like no broken bones.
Nothing. Built like a
Wow.
tank, man. And it's funny because I thought like because I didn't remember my first for the longest. I was like, I don't like how did I get out of the car? Who took me out? Was I unconscious? What? But turns out I was told afterwards that I took myself out of the vehicle. So I must have just been dazed and took myself out of the vehicle, and I went over and laid down on the side of the road.
Wow,
Just
man. And I see you have your seatbelt on right now doing this interview. So I'm guessing that you had your seatbelt on when this happened.
Yes, and it's funny too because normally at the time I wasn't wearing my seatbelt a lot. It was just something that I was doing that was dumb. And for just luckily, new car. I was like, I'll wear my seatbelt, and thank God I did, because if I didn't, I probably would have died.
Wow. Well, luckily you're okay. Thank God that nothing worse happened. I had to address it, man, and see, what all transpired there. So good to know that, you're good. And that's the most important thing. Tell me, now that you're in the UFC, the 170-pound division, one of the best, the deepest as far as I'm concerned. Leon Edwards is the champion. Do you see anyone at the top beating him right now, or is this a guy that you feel like might hang on to the belt for a little while?
No, I don't think he's. It depends on if he fixes what he needs to fix, in my opinion. Like even when he fought Colby Covington, I thought he got tired, which Covington didn't really push a pace like he normally does. I thought the only reason Colby Covington was going to beat Leon Edwards is because he was going to fight at an extremely high pace and gas him out, because he doesn't have better striking. And I mean, he could have wrestled him the whole time, but Leon's got some of the. Personally, I think Leon is the best striker and one of the best grapplers in the division. However, Leon doesn't have great cardio, and I think he quits. Um, but I'm not inside his head. I don't really know. I don't know what he's feeling in there. I don't know where his head's at. Maybe he's just trying to conserve energy. But he does let off the gas, and it looks like he gets tired and a little sloppy. Against Colby Covington, that works because Colby Covington was fighting scared. Against a guy like Jack or Shavkat, they're going to take advantage of that. I don't think Leon Edwards will put out Jack Della Maddalena, but I think he could put out Shavkat, because
You think so?
Shavkat's not as good a striker. He doesn't move his head off center enough.
Yeah, JDM's a stud, man. So I think that Bilal probably should get the next title shot. Does he beat Leon?
Yeah, he could. He's another kind of guy like Colby, and Bilal's gonna um I don't think Bilal's gonna be hesitant to put the pressure on. I think he's gonna get after it. Um he's big, he's strong, so he can put him up against the cage and make him tired and beat him. He's not better than Leon Edwards by any means. I think Leon's a better grappler than Bilal, but Bilal is very big and he's strong and he's got great cardio. So if he just puts the pressure on him, he could absolutely beat him.
As far as I'm concerned, George St. Pierre is the all-time best 170 pounder we've ever seen. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think he's the greatest 170 pounder. I think he's arguably the greatest of all time.
Yeah. People talk about John Jones and rightfully so, but there's been a couple of decisions that he's had that it could have gone either way, man. Like, and people act like he's never been in a close fight. Like he easily could have lost a couple of fights.
Gustafsson, Reyes, those are both fights that I still believe that he lost.
Yeah.
But and I honestly, I my toss up. The reason I think GSP is the goat would be because of his influence on the sport. I think GSP just changed the way that people looked at MMA, the way that he fought. He fought a lot smarter while still being aggressive and fighting opponents differently. Um, but I think skill wise, Demetrius Johnson is the best.
Yeah, he's one of the best too. If you had like a Mount Rushmore, who would you put your top four?
GSP, uh, Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva, and John Jones.
John Jones. Does John Jones beat Tom Aspinall if they fight?
That all comes down to how much, yeah, like how much does John Jones have left in the tank? Can he go another hard 25 minutes with a tough competitor? Because that's all it is. Because he could, skill wise, he can beat Aspinall, but Aspinall's young. He's a natural heavyweight, and he looks bigger than John Jones. Uh, so if he can't hang with the young guys anymore, then Aspinall will be the guy that beats him.
Yeah, interesting to see what happens. I could talk MMA with you all day. We'll circle back here to your fight, UFC St. Louis. Who have you had as far as training partners go, like specifically to kind of mimic Trey to get you ready for this one?
My teammate Austin always fights long. Like I've fought guys who were longer than him, but didn't fight as well using his reach, using their reach as my teammate Austin does. It's, I don't know what it is. His jab is just so good, and he snaps it. He mixes up the pace with it. He's got such a good read on when people close the space. So he does a lot for me. I've been training with Trevor Good. He's 6'7". And 6'7" is taller than 6'5". So if I can hit 6'7", I can hit 6'5". And I think honestly, I think Trey doesn't do enough with his reach. I think he could use his range a lot more. Um, but he doesn't because he does a lot of boxing. He sits to a lot of boxing and not a lot else. He throws some kicks, but not ones that his teeps he uses well. But outside of his boxing, like he's got that long jab, long punches. He I don't think he does as well using his reach sheet as he could.
Have you ever been to St. Louis before? Will this be your first time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
so a lot of
I'm gonna eventually get to see the whole world because of fighting.
yeah, man, no doubt. Good for you. Are you going to get there a little early or stay late and do a little sightseeing after the fight?
It depends. I'll probably stay a day. I haven't been able to do it because like Singapore was hard because I was in a foreign country, but Missouri will be different. But I would like to everywhere I go to get a tattoo where I go. So if I can have a day extra and go get a tattoo, that'd be cool. But my girlfriend's coming back. She's been studying abroad in Costa Rica, and she comes back the day of my fight. So I'm gonna want to hurry up and get back to her.
For sure. That makes sense. Who will be in your corners come fight night? Anyone new or pretty much your same guys?
Same guys. I only because I have to pay for the extra guys' tickets, and I don't want to do that. It's money. Um, but it's gonna be Dexter and Austin. They're gonna be cornering me, which is nothing new. They've been cornering me for a long time now.
Forgive my ignorance here. I don't know if you come out to the same song every time, but tell me what can you elaborate as to like maybe your favorite music or give me some inside info as to what song you're going to walk out to here for this one.
I don't know yet. I kind of it depends on what my mood is that week, and I'm whatever I'm going into headspace wise. Like last time I walked out to Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar. Um, I've walked out to David Bowie. I've never walked out to the same song twice. I don't think, except for I think I might have done Thunderstruck twice. I like walking out to that one for my coach, uh, and I don't know I like soft ass music for my walkouts. Just something a little upbeat, but nothing too hard because it's just not where I'm at. I usually like to be a little relaxed and flowy going into it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it was Cody Brundage that I just spoke to the other day, who's like going to be walking out to Mariah Carey again or something like that. Just something to kind of maybe calm you down and just get you in a flow type of state, so you're not all amped up, over aggressive when you come into the octagon.
Absolutely. It's all about being in the best place where you for yourself. If somebody else needs that aggression to get them up, then that's what they need.
Tell me, Billy, when you close your eyes at night and you go to sleep and you envision how this fight's going to play out, what do you think we're going to see? Is this going to be, fireworks from the beginning and you're going to get this guy out in the first round like you did your last opponent, or are you going to have to be a little bit more cautious and meticulous in there and figure him out with his range?
So a couple things. There's always going to be fireworks from the jump. Never. I always like pushing the pace. Just because I've got great cardio and most people don't. And so if I can get you tired, I'm probably going to win. Um, but I'd also like to get back to some of my wrestling because I haven't wrestled in a while. So I'd like to implement some of that. Um, I always shoot for the first round finish, and I'm always ready for 15 minutes of hell. Um, I don't like thinking like, oh, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to knock him out with this and that. But I think of every possible scenario. I've thought a lot about putting him out in the first round because he likes to bang. So we're going to be throwing shots. So anybody can go out.
Can't wait to watch, man. As far as how many times you want to fight this year, you want to get in full camps, or are you gonna take short notice fights if you get the opportunity? What is your headspace at as far as that goes?
I would like to fight 3 times this year. I would like to um, fight. If I fight in May, then I could fight in August. Then I could fight at the end of the year, December or something. I get three for this year. Three years, what I like. Um, I don't mind short notice fights, switch up fights, but my coach doesn't really like them because he wants to be smart with my career. But that's why I leave those decisions up to him.
Understood. Listen to the coach. He's been around long enough. He's guiding your career the right way, my man. Well, it all starts here May the 11th, your second fight officially as a UFC member, UFC St. Louis. Billy Goff meets Trey Waters. Good talking to you, man. Appreciate the interview. Before we sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. Huge thank you to my sponsors, Nummy's Bakery, Cardboard Kids, and Accelerated Athletics. They've been helping me out for this camp, which is a huge help for recovery and whatnot. I've got teammates fighting soon. Jake Kasky's fighting March 30th up at Cage Titans in Mass. I got another teammate on the same card making his debut, amateur debut. His name's Eric Zane. He's a little freaking meatball, genetic freak. Then the month after that, April 20th, I've got my teammate Austin. He's making his pro debut. So that's going to be amazing. And my other teammate, Jared Sweet, he's going to be making his amateur debut as well. He's a young kid. He's 18. We've had him for years, been molding him into a little violent child. And then I'm in May, and our team has a whole bunch of fights coming up, and we're ready to put the regional scene and the international scene on notice.